Hi, I'm Paul Basolka, Ivy Masters Learning Center at ivymasters.com. And today we're going to look at Test 7, Section 1, number 27, and 28, which reads, what does the author imply about pelicans, storks, and geese flying in the V formation? So, these birds here. Notice it's paired with number 28. So if you don't remember the answer, and granted there's no line reference in number 27, and you don't remember where it is in the passage, then make sure you look to the next question, because number 28, we have 4 spots that we're going to look to find that answer. And so let's actually look at the lines for 27 and 28 first, and you want to be flexible with this. At this point you would have read the whole passage, and if you just remember the answer, you'd answer number 27 first. But let's look at the lines 35 to 38. And I have these marked out. There's your answer choice A. And one thing that is a good idea for you to do is to get some context for these questions. So we want to know what we're talking about. You might read a little bit before, a little bit after. And to cut the time a little short here, we've got here, the study published in Nature took advantage of an existing project to reintroduce endangered northern bald ibises to Europe. So the context before answer choice A is they're studying ibises. And then answer choice A says, when a bird flew directly behind another, the timing of the flapping reversed so that it could minimize the effects of downdraft coming off the back of the bird's body. So what we see in answer choice A there is just talking about ibises. So that is not a valid answer choice. A is gone. We look at 47 to 48. And before we look at number 47 to 48, once again, we're going to get some context. We're going to read a little bit before. But one thing that the SAT loves to do to you is they'll say something like this. The red team is stronger, but less talented. And then I'll ask you, how's the blue team? Well, what that implies is that the blue team is weaker, but more talented. So notice the way this question 27 is asked. It says the word imply. What does the author imply about pelicans, storks, and geese flying in V formation? So that could be a good hint. Now, where we left off before with answer choice A, it was talking about ibises. And then let's see what it says after that. We didn't think it was possible. Usherwood says, considering the feat required careful flight and incredible awareness of one's neighbors. And then perhaps these big V formation birds can be thought of quite like an airplane with wings that go up and down. So it says V formation birds. That's how it leaves off. And that's just before answer choice B. We also get the findings likely apply to other long-winged birds such as pelicans, storks, and geese, Usherwood says. So it mentions them just before. And then what it says is that smaller birds create a more complex wake that would make drafting too difficult. So what that implies is that pelicans, storks, and geese have a less complex wake, and it makes drafting possible. So when we look at the answer choices, this looks valid right here. Let's see if it has a match. Answer choice A up here, they communicate with each other in the same way as do ibises. It's not talking about communication per se. Answer choice B, they have the same migration routes as that of ibises. If we look at the migration route, it says that the ancestral migration route of ibises is from Austria to Italy. We never get the migration route of pelicans, storks, and geese. So that's physically where they're flying from one location to another. So it does not look like that's valid, at least not on those lines. Answer choice C, they create a wake similar to that of ibises. Well, what it says is that pelicans, storks, and geese do not have wakes that are similar to the smaller birds. That would make drafting more difficult. So what's implied is that the drafting of the bigger birds has less complex wake, and it makes drafting possible. So that looks like it's a valid match. And then answer choice D, they expend more energy than do ibises. It does not say that one type of bird expends more energy than other. Answer choice C says previous studies estimate that birds can use 20% to 30% less energy while flying in a V. And this is in a paragraph about pelicans, storks, geese, and also was talking about ibises before. So it sounds like it's any birds that are flying in a V formation save 20 to 30% of their energy. Now, let's consider some of the other answer choices, like for number 28, look at answer choice C. 52 to 54, we'll see if that's valid line reference for number 27. By the way, if timing's an issue for you, you might move on at this point, but let's look at 52 to 54. It is in the paragraph about pelicans, storks, and geese, and we're talking about ibises just before. Previous studies estimate that birds can use 20 to 30% less energy while flying in a V. So it sounds like that would encompass all the birds, which that would be valid line reference for number 27. Let's see if there's a match. And answer choice D talks about expending energy, but it doesn't say one's expending more energy than the other. And the other, same migration route, answer choice B, how they communicate, answer choice A, those don't match either. So 52 to 54 is gone. Let's look at 66 to 67. And what we see there is, alternatively, they, who is they. We'll read a little bit before. Anytime you see pronouns, you want to make sure that you identify what the antecedent is, what that pronoun's referring to or replacing. And just before it, scientists do not know how the birds find that aerodynamic sweet spot. So it must be talking about all the birds that fly in a V formation. But they suspect that the animals align themselves either by sight or by sensing the air currents through their feathers. Alternatively, they may move around until they find a location with least resistance. That's how they position themselves to achieve maximum efficiency while flying in a V formation. Let's see if that has a match. They communicate with each other in the same way. Well, there's two proposals there. They're either feeling their way around or they're sensing it. It looks like answer choice D, they're either feeling their way around, finding the location of least resistance, or they're sensing it through their feathers, the air currents. Either way, it's pretty cool that they're able to do that. So we don't see anything about them, answer choice A, B, or D in number 27, about them finding their exact positioning, so it's not going to be that either. So it looks like these are gone, and we've got our match at C with B. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You can share it with someone who has trouble with these paired questions. Is there any question you'd like to see answered from any official PSAT or SAT or ACT? You can leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it. And click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Have a great day.